Greetings and welcome to the All You Can Geek Gamecast, episode 702. Tonight I will be your host, Corey Feinsod, with Mike Snitty,
What's up?
Tony Korkanakis,
Yo, yo, yo.
and the absent Jim. He is obviously, as you can see
Oh,
on the video, he is not here tonight. Happy birthday, Jim. He is out for his
Happy
birthday.
birthday.
So we
Oh,
will
man.
go on without him tonight because we have a lot to talk about. There's a lot of stuff here. So we had Summer Game Fest, we had Xbox Showcase, Ubisoft Showcase. Uh, PlayStation just decided to skip this, which is weird. I don't get it. But
they had their thing earlier there. Um,
well, this week they'll show up a little bit here and there, I guess. But yeah, let's get into we're gonna get right into it, guys, because there is no point in not there's so much to talk about. So first up was Summer Game Fest. Right? So Summer Game Fest was kind of disappointing.
there wasn't much of interest for like bigger games. There was,
I didn't
if
expect
you're into
anything, so thought it was
no,
fine.
it
I
was and
okay. So
it
last
was played
week I
down.
was hoping for like, and I mentioned last week on the podcast like Borderlands 4, anybody? Maybe. And then the day after, there's a rumor that came out that said, "Oh, Borderlands 4 might be showing up at Summer Games Fest," and that just that got my hopes up. I was not expecting anything, but then when that came out, I was like, "Oh, now we're definitely getting something for sure." And they disappointed. We didn't get it. So,
No.
but we did get a bunch of other things that are interesting. Nothing I would say that's exciting per se. But what, Mike? What was your most like interesting slash excited game that you're looking forward to from Summer Game Fest
Well,
that you saw?
the most exciting thing. Let's see, because there's I expected the DLC announcement for Alan Wake 2. I
Hmm.
did not expect it to be basically a shadow drop where Sam Lake strolls out there, does his whole shtick that he now has to do at all appearances, where he has to dance to Herald of Darkness. But yeah, it came out the following day. This 3 episode Night Springs DLC. So I have to jump back into Alan Wake 2, finish my final draft playthrough first, and then go into that. So that is exciting. But it was expected. But the part that I didn't expect was it to be out so soon.
Yeah, that's cool. No,
So
that's awesome. Like you're expecting to hear about it, and then like, oh, 6 months later we'll get it. But that's really cool that they actually had it out there for you
yeah,
the next day.
and apparently it's good. I haven't gotten to that part yet, but those who have said good things about it.
Awesome. And it's pretty
The other,
meaty.
I don't know. I, each episode is kind of short, I think, but there's 3 of them, so that's pretty good, I would say. Um, and the other thing that stands out to me personally, that I mean, I'm skipping over most of the show because
Hmm.
it was very niche stuff mostly. Uh, the announcement of that Power Rangers beat 'em up game.
Yeah.
Um, Side scroller, very much in the vein of the Shredder's Revenge Turtles game, but it might even have a little more to it than that. It had some special stages where you're on a roller coaster or driving like towards enemies on like some sort of motorcycle. So it had a lot of character to it, and that's exciting. It's definitely something that I would look forward to. We don't have a date for that, but I think they said this year, so that's
Okay.
good.
No, that's awesome. No, it looked really cool. It had Shredder's Revenge turtle style looking. It's up to 5 players. It looked
Five
like as
players,
well.
online
Yeah,
and local co-op, which is pretty cool
And
because
the local thing is awesome.
local
Gotta
stuff
have it.
is
yeah,
a dying
yeah.
breed
That
these days, unfortunately.
Hmm.
But
Nice.
pixel art, which is always nice to see, also a dying thing these days.
Hmm.
But yeah, I really thought the Harrier style, like move towards the screen
yeah.
and have
Mm.
enemies and objects. Looks like there's in addition to like a Zord or vehicle part, there's also like a Megazord, like kind of like Punch Out or whatever boxing thing
Hmm.
with the the giant enemies once they get zapped up.
Yeah, it looked like they were adding different styles of game there instead of just a side scrolling, so
Yeah.
like you get a little variety.
Yeah, which is always cool to break up the monotony of beat 'em ups and stuff like that. So if it even comes up to like the Shredder's Revenge level, I'll be happy. But even if not, it's worth probably a playthrough. So
Cool. How about you, Tony? Did you watch it at
yeah,
all, or you just
absolutely, I
saw it
watched
to
it all.
highlights? Okay.
Let me see here. So Star Wars Outlaws, I think, actually looks kind of promising. It's hard to tell with some of the Ubisoft games, right? Because some of these trailers are just very obviously have a lot of time spent on them and stuff like that.
Right.
Um,
They're catering to this specific show to
right,
show
they
a
know it.
specific moment, and
Right, they know
it's
it.
all for that. Yeah, and may not even be in the game.
Yeah. But I mean, it looks cool. We'll see how it is and stuff like that. I think some impressions were out already, and some people were pretty hyped, and some were kind of down on it and stuff like that. So who knows? We'll have a couple months.
Bag, yep.
And,
That's
I'll
the usual.
let Jim take that one first because he's got it on pre-order, and I've learned Ubisoft, you wait a month, you get it for half price or something like that.
I know in the Ubisoft show they showed more of it.
They showed more.
Yeah.
But it looks kind of cool because, like, I think in the Ubisoft show, not to spoil it, but whatever, they're all blending together. There looked like there was multiple paths and kind of like dialogue choices, reminiscent of like Mass Effect, where it's like, do you want to be like a
Paragon,
good, Paragon and Renegade stuff, where it's like, how do you want to get your way out of this one? Do you just want to shoot them, or do you want to like smooth talk or bribe, whatever? So that's interesting.
Scoundrel and I don't even know because you don't want to use dark side, light side because they're not Force users, but who knows?
Yep. The next thing that I thought was interesting was the Street Fighter 6 next DLC announcement, and just because
Year 2,
I'm so into the series. As soon as because like they teased it right, as soon as I saw that logo though, that patch, I was like, oh shit.
Cool.
We're getting, SNK characters, Terry Bogard and Mai Shiranui joining the battle, which is, I believe, the first time that Street Fighter has had external characters, like third-party stuff, officially.
Right. That's not a cross game.
Right,
obviously.
It's not a cross. Yeah, exactly. Street Fighter only. Like, sure, they do Marvel vs. Capcom, they do the SNK versus...
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, as far as mainline games, definitely not.
So I think it's interesting, but also my favorite from Street Fighter 3, Elena. She's the capoeira African fighter, and also a surprise for the story or lore nerds. Because they're out, but somehow M. Bison has returned, and
I'm curious.
What's going on with him. I think they've done a good job distancing from like the franchise for a bit because he did die with the story and all that stuff. So it'll be interesting how they tell that in the story. If it is. Like, I don't know how DLC is going to work with Street Fighter because this is the first time that they've really put any emphasis on, like, a real strong emphasis on story. So it'll be interesting if that continues with the DLC or they're just like, yeah, whatever, M. Bison's back,
I like the look. I like how he looks like
he looks
like
cool.
kind of like disheveled and like, oh, I just got back. I'm trying to recover myself instead of just the clean cut,
clean
soldier
cut,
style.
like general commander style.
Yeah.
What I loved was there's some key art with him or whatever like that they released, and he's like riding a horse or whatever like that, and that is actually a throwback to the 90s Street Fighter movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme, because there's like a painting of Bison, he's on a horse. So I was like, wow, that is a throwback there. Like, what the hell? Okay.
That's pretty awesome. And he's going to be the first one, and then I think it's going to be Terry, and then Elena, and then Mai's the last.
So I think so far they've only announced 4, which is whatever. I guess it's fine. I know
one every 3 months. I mean, it would be nice to get like 6. But...
I know some people are kind of bummed because, like, I don't know. I like SNK and I like King of Fighters, so it's cool to see them. But like, I can understand people are like, oh, there's a bunch of Street Fighter characters that could return, so it's like,
cool. Where's Sean at, man?
Yeah, where's Sean at?
Every time there's guest characters in fighting games, it's always the debate.
Yeah, for sure. But like I said, this is the first time that Street Fighter's done it, so they're the ones that are kind of salty now.
Welcome to it, Street Fighter.
Exactly. It's like, welcome to first time, right? That whole meme, first time. It's like noose around your neck. What I did think was interesting too wasn't one particular announcement, but like I guess unveiled. But Blumhouse Games unveiled a bunch of horror games. and that they're getting into publishing video games, and obviously it's all horror oriented and stuff like that,
Right.
which I think is super cool. I love horror games. Kind of like movies, like right there's a little bit lower of a expectation, right? You just want some cheap scares. You could do like psychological, you could do thriller, etc., etc. And they showed a nice variety of games. One I thought was cool was it looked like a Stardew Valley type of game where it's like, oh, like I'm just on a farm, I'm doing life simulation stuff, and then it's like, oh, suddenly one of the villagers has been murdered, and it's like, oh, there's a murder in the village, and apparently the whole gimmick of like it's a built for replayability. I guess it's pseudo roguelike or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But every time you play it, a new villager will be a killer, and it's up
Oh,
to you
that's
to like
neat.
kind of discover
Figure
it
out.
and figure it out. So I'm all for that. I think that's really cool. So I'm
That
looking
sounds
forward to it.
neat. There's one that was this the Devolver, I think, though. I'm getting they all mix
Yeah, they all
together.
mix
Once you
together.
but they had the one where it's like pixel art gameplay, but then it was live action
Cutscenes,
cutscenes.
yeah.
That looked really cool too, as far as horror games go. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, so it looks like they have like I think 6 to 8 or something like that, and
That's neat.
we'll be
That's
getting
cool.
a couple of them this year, so that's really cool. And then lastly, the big thing for me was Mecha Break, which is having a beta test open this August, but it's a Gundam at home style game where it's like, oh, these are clearly like Gundam looking things made by Gundam designers, but it's totally not Gundam. It's something else. But I love giant robots. I love fighting giant robots. I love
This
player versus
one
player.
looks different than most of these games, right? Because it looks way faster.
Yeah,
Than
it's so
you'd expect.
fast. It's so fast. Like last year we got Armored Core, which is fine because it's a bit like a slower pace, like methodical. This is just like action. Like I think during one part in the trailer, like you had like the whole anime like after image silhouette things like flying around for a super. I'm just like, okay, I'm all about this. So
Nice.
definitely jumping in for that beta when it can.
Cool. Yeah, yeah, Street Fighter thing was really cool to see. Not that I'm excited for anything, but they did announce Doom is Dark Ages, which is whatever. I don't know about it. It seems interesting take just to change it up a little bit. But
That's the Xbox one, right? That started on the
no,
Xbox.
It's everything.
I don't know, was that Summer Game
I know,
Fest?
but
I thought that was at the Game Fest.
I think that was the opening part of the Xbox show, but whatever,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
They also changed the name of Dragon Age apparently.
I mean, now we're getting into the Xbox stuff, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, let's move on to the Xbox, because I will say like Summer Game Fest did not really do much as far as get the excitement up for me headline wise, but the Xbox showcase they were coming out with a lot of stuff from our childhood.
Yeah.
Like everything that they were talking about was like, oh, I remember this game. I remember this game, because like they're just all sequels or remakes or prequels in some cases, right?
This is a lot of it is stuff we should have seen like maybe 5 years ago, but here it is.
Yeah, so Dragon Age was was Dreadwolf, and now Veilborn or Veilguard.
Veilguard, sorry.
Yeah, Veilguard. Oh,
So
I mean, looks fine.
This looks.
I thought this trailer looked fucking bad.
Trailer looks weird because I thought it was like a spin-off or something. I'm like, this isn't the Dragon Age game, is it? But I guess it is.
I was just so surprised because, like, I was watching it live, and I think I either went to the bathroom or I was checking something on my main screen, so I missed the whole like EA thing, which would have instantly clued me in, like, oh, this is a Dragon Age game. And I looked back and I was like, what is this? Like, is this another fucking hero shooter? Like, what is, or a mobile game? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, it looked like some sort of like team, yeah.
Like the way they did it, like the necromancer, the mage killer. And I'm like, oh,
Arena
the Veil Jumper.
Battler.
It was like the Veil Jumper. I was like, wait, and then like I was like, is this fucking Dragon Age? I was like, is this Dragon Age spin-off? Like a surprise thing?
That dwarf guy because I played Inquisition, but yeah, fans. I'm not really a fan of the series. I've only played Inquisition, which was, but fans are not happy with that trailer. There was a more recent gameplay reveal, which
today
shows it a little more traditional than
it was really just the trailer showed. And I think it's just whoever, marketing, obviously thinks they
Misstep.
know a lot
It was a
about
misstep.
marketing. But yeah, I think there's a huge misstep because it's like just the way the trailer was shot, you're expecting something completely different. The vibes are completely weird too, because like it starts with like the dwarf and whoever, they're like having at the bar, and like all of a sudden like they're talking and they're being like surrounded by enemies, and it's like, oh, I think we're gonna need more than two of us here. And it's like, here, grab this beer and bash that guy in the face with it, and let's have a conversation about the heist of the crew that we're gonna need for this heist. I'm like,
And
what are you talking? This
the
isn't Guardians of the Galaxy. This isn't Dungeons and Dragons, the movie.
fucking Marvelication of everything.
Yeah, it was so odd tonally, and like even like when the official Dragon Age Twitter, account tweeted out, like the number one reply was like, "This is fucking Fortnite. What are you doing?" or something like that, and it's like got the most likes, the most retweets, stuff like that.
Yeah,
So I think
people were not happy with
people
this.
were not happy, and even yesterday, because the official gameplay reveal was today, but even yesterday they posted like a 15 or 30-second clip, and I think it was damage control, like pure damage control. They're like, oh, the numbers are bad. We need to.
Yeah. But they might have gone too far the other way, because apparently some of the footage they showed like killed off a main character, like within what they showed today.
Sure. I mean, to me, Dragon Age was just Origins. That was the only good one, in my opinion. Sorry, BioWare fans.
That seems to be a popular opinion.
It's only gone
played
downhill.
In my opinion, yes,
what's
it's only gone downhill. So I was never in, but I'm just like, I feel really bad because BioWare needs a win. They're kind of like Rocksteady, where it's like, I don't know. If this fails, I don't think we get that Mass Effect game. Sadly.
I do. Did look like actual gameplay in today's video, where
yeah,
like
I mean the game is coming
actually...
out this year in a couple months. So
I know, no, but I mean like not. I'm comparing it to Inquisition, where the gameplay was not gameplay, where you pressed a button and some little like sperm shot out of your magic wand to hit enemies somewhere. Like this time, you were actually like swinging a sword in this, so that was cool. But
and that's the thing is like coming after Baldur's Gate 3, and just it's a different game. I understand it's a different game, so don't come at me. But it's a fantasy game, RPG, and Baldur's Gate just seems to have done everything way better than what this game is trying to do. Tonally, like you mentioned, like the tone thing is really what's getting to me, because like the original name of the game was Dreadwolf, and it's like Dragon Age Dreadwolf, and like, oh, this is gonna be like dark and it's gonna be like serious, and then it seems, like you said, they're trying to get this weird like queen humor or something.
Yeah, I just think it's a total mismatch, and I get it. Like early on in development, this was supposed to be a multiplayer live service game. Sound familiar?
I mean, that's what it looks like,
so
right?
I think it's just they had the remnants, right? Like you can scrub a lot of it out, but I'm glad they took the turn. I just don't know if it's going to be enough. And like apparently the thing is, it took oh fuck, what game was it? Star Wars, the first one, Jedi Fallen Order, or whatever it is. It took that game, the success of that game, to convince whoever up at the top.
I remember this. Yeah.
EA, to be like, actually, we can do single player. Let's do a single player. And it's like, okay. I mean, I'm glad you did the pivot, but like, you could still see the cracks of like that live. Because like, seeing that trailer, you're just like, is this a fucking multiplayer like service game? Like, I don't understand it, right? So
I really thought it was a spin-off.
Yeah, I thought it was too. So I was just like, oh, and it's like it's so bright and colorful too, which like isn't necessarily bad. I like bright and colorful, but like I distinctly like the box art for Dragon Age Origins is like greatest of all time. It's like top tier in my opinion. Like that whole like white background and red silhouette of a dragon with the characters in it. Like I'm just like, oh, chef's kiss. Like this is perfect. Even Dragon Age Inquisition, what got me to, I was like, oh, the key art for this is fucking awesome looking, where you have the guy standing there, and again, you have the silhouette of the dragon with its wings spread and stuff like that. And this, it looks total like Fortnite, Marvel, whatever, like cool, bright, colorful, purple background, all the characters, and it's like the logo. I'm just like, I don't know. I was never in, but like, this is like, I'm firmly never interested in this game, so good luck.
How much further out can I get?
Yep, good luck. Good luck buying
All
it.
right, yeah, let's keep it going here because we talked about Doom a little bit, but also they announced State of Decay 3, which I liked the first one. I never played the second
Never
one.
played the second one either. I have it. Never
Yeah,
played it.
yep, same.
But
Like it was on Game Pass also, so
it's kind of interesting. Like whatever.
I like the
You know.
idea of it. I think it's the thing is I thought it was again, consequences. I think that's interesting in games, and so Syndicate, it's coming the third one, so hopefully they can do something with it. Mike, what do you think of the Shattered Space
It's
Starfield DLC
it's pretty
stuff?
good. I mean, I knew it was coming again, but I'm glad it looks so different from the base game. It's a lot of what we have in the base game. One of the criticisms is it sort of lacks personality, but this does not look like that. It looks like they're leaning into the more fantastical elements, and yeah, this
Mhm.
whole new area just looks interesting, totally different. So it's pretty good. Like I was always gonna go back anyway when we got this expansion, because we also got a fair amount of other content that was released at the same time as this. Now apparently, people are angry because there's like a paywalled mission in this,
Mm.
which is not great. But
Yeah, so you get new bounties and other
Wait. What do you
yeah,
content.
mean it's paywalled?
there's you have to like pay like $7 or something for like something. I don't really know. Some sort of expansion, but one of the quests, like single player quests, is paywalled. So it's it's basically DLC for like one quest and a bunch of stuff that's free that everyone's getting. Um,
Okay.
And that's
So
coming
but
out this
whatever.
year at some point, right?
yeah,
Well,
they
that
just
that
said this
stuff
year.
has happened, but yeah, they still said this year. They didn't give a date yet, but it's still supposed to be this year. So
One of the more interesting things
forward to it.
I think that they showed off, as far as original new IP, was Expedition 33,
Yes,
an
Claire
RPG.
Obscura. Yeah, this was
Yeah,
my like. Oh,
top.
we're cooking now. Okay.
Yeah,
Makes me feel
no,
old.
that's cool. I mean, visually it looks amazing,
I think it
and
Been
looks
dead
it's
for four
great.
years.
yeah, and then
But that
the
this is an
combat
exclusive.
system seems
Yeah,
very interesting.
yeah. I mean, it's flashy. It's turn based, like it's a traditional like
Looks like
Hmm.
it.
JRPG
Yeah.
style,
Yeah,
but it has really flashy like animations. It looks like there's like some
and this
pseudo like Paper Mario elements where it's like, oh, you got to like press the buttons to like
right, there
do
seems to be some
combos.
like things you can do within the turns and
Yeah,
within like the actions where you're still moving around, still doing stuff and taking turns, but there's like interrupts or something. It looked like
yeah.
at some point.
So I'm interested in seeing this. It's from what's this studio? Sandfall Interactive. I think it's a French studio.
Hmm.
But yeah, looks like next year. But
Yeah, and that concept, the theme of it was interesting. It's
mm,
like, oh, we have to do this, and this is the 33rd time that
yeah,
they've tried to do
yeah.
it.
I
So
mean, I
it's
kind of
neat.
like that. Like with the movies. What was it?
No, no,
The
that's not what it is. I listened to the
Oh, all
trailer
right.
the
Let's
second
see.
time.
Let's what we got.
This is the age of people who are getting erased, and it's going down. So
Ah,
everyone
oh, it's a count.
okay.
older,
Oh, okay.
yes,
Interesting.
everyone older, like that person who disappeared was 34, and then they went away. And so ex- they've got only 33 left until everyone's just dead.
Mm.
Um, but
Mm.
yeah, so
I like that's even
that's what's
more
happening.
interesting
Yeah, it's more
actually.
original, so
Nice,
that's cool.
cool. No, that looked good. Any other like standouts for you? Because we got obviously some big names at the end here. I wanted to just hold off on, I guess.
Uh,
But
South of Midnight. I'm kind of like half and half on. Whereas like
hmm
I liked the gameplay looks of it because it looks like a action fantasy,
fantastical.
yeah,
Yeah.
whatever. But I hated the cutscene part where it was just kind of like I don't know, it looked like that whole like 24 frame per second thing where like
hmm
or like Spider Verse thing where it's like
Claymation
kind of
type.
yeah. I'm like this looks awkward to me. Like that works for movies. I like that in movies. I do not like that in my video games. Like I don't care if it's intentional. It looks weird and it's so
I mean,
off-putting to me.
the gameplay wasn't that though, so
Yeah, no. That's what I'm
I don't
saying.
know.
Like I don't know how that's going to turn out. I was just like, if I have to watch half the game or a third of the game in those cutscenes, I don't know if I don't
Yeah.
know if I'd
Interesting.
jump in.
All right. So then we also real quick just got some more Diablo 4 expansion. I don't know. They're gonna get me back, I think, with this. I'm excited for it. So we'll see.
You
That's
live where you live.
October.
You don't
I
have
know.
Diablo or Borderlands this year, so yeah.
Exactly. I
I,
did
I
this.
don't care.
My buddies all bought Destiny, and they're trying to pull me in. So I'm like, oh no, don't do that to me. So we'll see. Any case, yeah. So yeah, Jim got his Fable look. A lot of gameplay in this trailer.
Yeah.
No release
I'm
date, so I'm still
no,
kind of
yeah,
like,
no release date, but I don't like the look of it. Like,
mm.
I'm not. It's
I
not
mean,
doing it for me.
it's not bad, but it's not. Yeah, it's not doing anything for me either. I'm like, okay,
Yeah. No,
It doesn't have like a design that the older ones did. You know, it's just this is more like they look like people.
yeah,
So
I think that's might be what it is. Like I do think the
yeah,
other Fables were more cartoony, right? And this they're
they're trying to
they're
keep it cartoony
uncanny.
with tone, but
Yeah.
yeah, they're just. I mean, we have like actor likenesses in this,
Hmm.
so
Yeah.
it's gonna look like people.
And it's interesting too is that it sounds like you're gonna be playing as a specific person instead of
I'm
like being able to
yeah,
not
kind
sure
of
it
if
looked like
that's
they were
true.
referring to that one character. It's like, oh, the hero
Mhm.
is this and blah blah blah. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Well, that still could be a shepherd situation.
sure.
All right. And then
Customized.
you have Perfect Dark.
Oh boy,
I don't know about this one. I like the whole
I
time
was
I'm watching it.
surprised.
I was just
Hmm.
like, mm.
So how do you feel, Mike? I know you're probably uh,
Well,
you're
it certainly got my attention when they started to talk about Carrington. I'm like,
hmm
wait, is this Perfect Dark? Then it happened. Then they reveal her face. I'm like, that doesn't look like how I thought Joanna would look, but whatever. And and then they show some gameplay that looks a bit like Cyberpunk, frankly. In this very, yeah, it could be a very sort of, you know, cultivated section of gameplay. And we know that this has had a lot of trouble. It's basically had to restart. They got Crystal Dynamics to come help them out. Um, what I've seen of the gameplay is neither here nor there. Like it's fine, but I just I'm more wondering about the broader concepts of the game. Like I couldn't tell if it's a prequel or sequel because Carrington is her boss in the first game. So does that make this a prequel, or is this like his son? Because she seems older in this, um,
yeah, but she looks. I mean,
and
I
he
don't. It's hard to
seems
say, I
younger.
guess.
So very interesting that they
I
even
think it's just a
showed this
reboot.
because God knows when it's going to happen. A
Yeah,
reboot.
I think it's probably like you said. It's probably just a re
I mean, it's
start
like we
over.
only have two games to base off of, and the last one was in
Yeah.
fucking what 2006, right?
I
Oh,
mean, it was
I don't even
Xbox
know.
360, right? So.
Yeah, Perfect Dark Zero.
Yeah,
So
something
like,
like that.
so I mean,
So
it's not really much to go by. Where it's like, oh, we got to be accurate to the lore. Like, just fucking reboot it. That's fine. You probably expand the audience that way. You can't be like, oh, this is the third game in the critically acclaimed Perfect Dark series, starting 19 or 2000 or whatever it was. It's like, oh,
it's
okay,
about
sure,
2000, I think.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
To me, I'm super skeptical. Like the whole time, I'm just like, no, this seems too doctored, too specifically catered to making the things look the way they do. Because it was just one trailer. Like it's not multiple environments. It's not multiple portions of like gameplay. Like where like they'll cut from scenes to scenes. It's just
Yeah,
one
give you the
continuous
whole.
segment
Yeah.
where I'm just like, okay, everything is happening specifically because they want it to happen. And to me, that just screams like vertical slice, where it's like this is not going to be not necessarily going to be representative of final gameplay. It's been fucking 5 years since we talked about this. We need to show something. Like we
Yep.
need to fucking
Yeah,
show
I
something
mean,
finally. And I'm just like,
what I took from this is that it's not canceled.
yeah, absolutely. Which
It,
is the other thing.
so it's still coming. One thing that sort of irked me a little is when I think of Perfect Dark. Of course, I was a kid, but it was Rare's M-rated sequel to GoldenEye, and there wasn't any blood in this trailer. I kind of wanted to see a little blood coming off some guys when they get shot from Perfect Dark.
Mm.
There wasn't any. So I don't know.
I think she was
That's just
tasing a lot of them or using a stun gun or something. I have to rewatch the trailer, but
I'm not sure that. And then it seems to imply there's like a overhead takedown. There seem to imply there's parkour, which is, I don't need parkour in games much anymore. I've had enough of that, to be honest, first person or otherwise. But so there's some interesting choices, but who knows if any of it is going to be relevant to the actual game whenever it comes out. But yeah, I am just happy that it's not canceled, I guess, but I'm not holding my breath for it either.
Yeah. The other thing is they didn't. A lot of their trailers were said like either this year or 2025.
Yeah,
This trailer had
nothing
neither.
for this.
So it's like they don't even expect it next year. I'm not gonna care about
It is
this. I'm not
day
gonna care
one
about
Game
this till
Pass,
closer
though,
to
they
it.
said.
Who fucking cares? Like I'm
Is
not
Game
gonna care
Pass
for
a
2
thing?
years.
So the thing with this for me, I think, is that like it feels like they announced the game, they started developing the games like this game is shit, and they had to
They had to
scrap it all
scrap it
and
all.
then
Yeah.
just start over
This
again.
game.
And so and then they're like, oh well, now we got to throw something together because it's been so long, and we're gonna put this in. Yeah, like you said, I don't think this is going to be as representative probably as to what we get at the end. I bet we do one of those like here's what they showed in 2023 and then in 2026 here's or 2024 here's what they like
It
here's the actual game, and it's like that whole like
Like
No
Watch
Man's
Dogs,
Sky.
Cyberpunk.
yeah, No Man's Sky, whatever. All these
it,
games
it
that are like,
actually it does remind me of the Cyberpunk trailer
Mm-hmm.
also that way. Not only does it kind of look like mechanically similar to Cyberpunk, but that opening sort of part where you like
Look
get
all these things you're gonna
rescue
get,
that
and then
character,
this is what you really get. Reality versus
expectations versus
exactly.
reality. Yep. But
All right,
yeah, I'm just glad it exists. So we'll
cool.
see
How
how it
about
goes.
are you glad that Indiana Jones exists, Mike?
There's something I have to try to care about later this year, but this was it. This didn't help my feelings about the game though. It's just
Okay.
like, oh, there's it
It's like
looks
it's not Harrison Ford, right?
no,
Because
it's not.
no,
he's
it's Troy
just a
Baker.
sound alike, right? Yeah.
Troy Baker.
Yeah,
Mm.
he's doing a good
Um,
job in my opinion of like an
He
imitation
did.
a pretty
Yeah.
voice.
good
It's
job.
not.
Although I still recognize his voice as well too much. But he does a good job doing the Harrison Ford yelling because that's a different vibe when he like raises his voice in a very specific way. He does a good job of that. But no, this was mostly cinematics. The
Yeah,
gameplay that was
Hmm.
shown
I think it was like 5 minutes,
still looks
and
a little janky.
4:30 of it was like fucking just a cutscene.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you can't like there's like where Perfect Dark, I could totally understand that, right? Because that's again minimum 2 years
Coming.
out. This game
This
is
is coming in
launching this
months.
summer, like August or September or
Well,
something like that.
it's this year. I don't know. I
Oh, is
don't
it?
know.
I'm sorry, I
They
thought it
don't
was
have a
summer.
date.
They might have
It's
pushed it.
2024. I don't know exactly when though.
Whatever. It's coming out in
I
less than
figured
6
it's
months
coming in
apparently.
like fall.
Less
Within the
than
next 6 months, yeah.
And you're out of 5 minutes, you're showing 4 minutes and 30 seconds of a cutscene. And frankly, those 30 seconds of gameplay, I was like, I don't know
Generic.
about this. I went back after what I said in Discord. Every single time, there's only one enemy on screen, and I was just like, is this supposed to be exciting to me? Because it doesn't look
I
exciting
think
to me.
I wouldn't be surprised if the actual like first person like fighting is very like contained and like scripted. Like you're not going to really be able to do that and transition to like other stuff. I think that's going to be
Well, the one part
What are
is
they
like
going
Red,
for here? Like,
the
what is
Red
the what?
Steel, if you remember
Because
that.
it's not mass murdering Nathan Drake, right?
No,
And it's
well,
not
I
like
think what they're going
parkouring
for,
Lara Croft, right? So it's like, what do you?
it's gonna be first person Nathan Drake, I would think, in the end. Like,
He's gonna be shooting up Nazis like left and right.
well, yeah. I mean, the one part he
probably.
literally.
You gotta
This is
do
the
something.
weirdest part in the trailer to me. Is at one point he's in like an outside area. I think there's a plane nearby or something like that, and there's a Nazi next to the plane, and he pulls out his pistol and goes to shoot the Nazi, but he like misses, and I'm just like, why are you showing your player missing a gunshot? Like, I don't
cinematic.
understand. Like, what is this? Are you supposed to be like, yeah, Indy missing that shot, man? He's a badass. It's like, what? And like, there was another segment where he like whips a guy, and I'm just like, was that supposed to be impressive? Like, it didn't have the weight to it that a whip should have, right? And there's plenty of whips you can reference in video games. Lots of Castlevania ones out there. And I'm just like, that looks so fucking bad to me. Like,
No,
I don't know, man.
that's
I don't know what this is supposed to be like. I'm not confident at all in this.
My biggest worry for it is because he's not Nathan Drake. Nathan and like big part of the Uncharted series is the gunfighting. Like that's a major part of that game. For Indiana Jones, that seems out of place. I mean, I don't think Indiana Jones is going out and mass murdering people.
Yeah, no, I think if anything, it's probably gonna
He's
have
going
super
to.
limited ammunition for your gun,
hmm
and it's gonna be like fisticuffs and whip.
Right.
With,
So
with
then, if you don't
nonsense.
do that, like I do want a game like where you're exploring and discovering and solving puzzles and
Didn't look like any of that.
and that's not. I'm just gonna say, and that's not what this looks like, right? I would
I
love to
think
see
there
it.
will be some
A
of that, a
more
little bit of that.
adventure. Like, where's like the adventure games these days? Like,
Don't know.
this isn't like we don't get that. So,
I mean, we'll see. I think
hopefully,
they
hopefully it's
are
good.
trying to go. I would be surprised if there was a fair amount of puzzles and stuff. I don't know how deep they'll be, but
Sure.
I
Well, they
think
need to
they'll be
show
fun.
that. Fucking less than 6 months. Give us some fucking gameplay, man.
Yep. Okay. Well, like the big one for me, obviously, is the Gears of War reveal. So this is not the next one, not six. This is
It
Gears
is
of
the next
War
one.
E. Well, okay, it's not the sixth. It's not taking place after five. This is E Day, Gears of War E Day, which is Emergence Day, where all the locusts come out. So I actually really like this idea because I like getting back to, you know, Marcus and Dom and that those two guys and like little the bromance that they have and everything. And I think it's cool to go back to your roots a little bit with the horror aspect of Gears of War and the it could be interesting to having like Emergence Day and seeing the beginning of this whole saga, this whole war. I think that would be pretty cool. And then you end up with Marcus in prison at the end. So can start right there at Gears of War 1. We just start remaking them, and who knows? And we'll never find out
Oh,
what this cliffhanger is at the end of 5.
I don't know, man. I thought it was weird. I was like, the other thing too is like, first of all, this is the ender for the fucking show. And second of all, it's all CGI. Like, I'm just like,
Yeah.
Microsoft, have you not fucking learned yet? Like, why are you still doing this? Why? Why? Why?
Mhm.
Why?
Did
Why?
they give a window
No,
for this
there's no
one?
fucking window for this
No,
either.
no window.
Not even a
Yep.
year. Why are you doing this?
Oh, okay.
I mean, it would have been amazing if they were like, this is coming early 2025 or something. That would have been
Sure.
nice, but nope.
So, how do you
But I'm still
feel about
excited.
them reusing Mad World in this trailer?
I think that's what their most popular like marketing push was with Bad World, and so
Yeah, I know.
it kind of and it brings it back to that Gears of War 3 and stuff. So I think it.
Three. I don't remember which Gears that was a commercial for. It was 3.
I'm pretty sure it was 3 because that was like the end of the trilogy for those guys. I think it was 3. I mean, you guys will have to
I don't know.
fact
I
check
thought
me
it
at some point.
could have been 2,
I
but
don't
I don't
care
know.
about Gears, so
It doesn't really matter.
Mm.
Yeah, I've never been into it.
I like the first
my-
one a lot.
my
The
friends-
second one, Horde Mode or whatever it was called.
Mm-hmm. Horde mode was great.
I
Yeah.
love Horde. That was fun. I have
mean, that-
no interest in the single player, but the Horde mode was so fucking fun in 2.
Yeah, I mean it's a great co-op game for sure,
Mm-hmm.
and I like the idea that going back to be more horror based.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind the
So-
horror based thing. I just love again, I'm not a fan, but I think it's weird. It's like we left 5 on a cliffhanger for the story.
Mm-hmm.
It's been 5 years. Hey, we're doing a prequel. It's like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? Like,
Yeah,
okay, sure, all right.
I don't disagree at all, but I also I'm excited to see what they do, and maybe fingers crossed that they have that Gear 6 somewhere like in the pipeline. Like they definitely try to be like, oh hey, don't forget we're not forgetting about that. We just want to do something a little different here.
Yeah, sure. It's been 5 years. Assuming it's not even making 2025 because they didn't say that in the trailer. So
Yeah, I doubt it's 2025.
So 2026 and like what, another 5 years after 6 years for a true Gear 6? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know how that math adds up, but I would not bet on that.
No, I mean I'm totally writing off the next anything after Gears 5.
But so that's fine. I mean, if you're getting what you want out of this, then that's great. I just think it's so.
As long as it's on PC, I mean we're good. I'm not gonna get an Xbox.
Yeah.
So.
No, absolutely, no point.
And then we had the and so I think that was like so. Anything else you want to mention from Microsoft stuff? Like I know Jim would have a lot to say here.
Oh, too bad he didn't show up.
His boy Phil had some stuff to say, but
Fuck. And you know what? This is the part that bugged me the most. 'Cause I will outright say, as far as a presentation goes, this is probably the best Microsoft has done in a long time. Probably like
Oh,
since
yeah.
the 360 days.
The bar has been very low, so.
Yeah, so bar's been very low, and they showed a lot of great
Lot of
games.
Mhm.
But I fucking absolutely hated the fact that we got Phil Spencer, Matt Moody, and Sarah Bond on stage, you know, talking about the passion of Xbox, the passion of our fans and our developers that we truly believe in. It's like, bro, it hasn't even been a fucking month since the shutdown of the studios and stuff like that. Like, the body's still warm. Don't fucking show your face on this fucking like presentation. Like, you should have just not fucking showed up at all. And because that's the thing is, like, every time one of them showed up, I just cared less about the games because I'm like, well, this could be the next studio's last game. Like, who fucking knows, right? Because, like, Helua, like Blade Sacrifice 2, whatever the fucking name of the game is, like, they haven't talked about that at all. They didn't even fucking show anything about that. I know the game is out, but, like, it just feels like they're like, yep, that game's out. And nothing about that. And I would not be surprised if that studio closed down now, right? So
Senua.
Senua's Sacrifice.
Yeah, Sakurai, whatever it is. It's like
Hellblade 2.
Hellblade, that's it. Yeah,
that's it. It's like, yep, that
The
game.
game Jim played for some reason.
Yep, I don't know. It's just fucking weird. So yeah, and that's the thing is like any potential game that they did show for me was just like a lesson because it's like, sure, I hope it's a good game and I hope that studio exists to make a game after that. But
right.
you know,
I mean, you can't even say I hope it's successful because some games were successful and they still got their studio closed.
That's the thing is even the successful one, and like the thing that really pissed me off was fucking IGN, fucking god, what's his name? He's the before they merged into like just IGN, they had their divisions, but like he was the head of the Xbox IGN division. Got to interview Phil Spencer, and he gave him the most.
Was that Ryan?
Yeah. He gave him the most softball fucking question about it, and Phil still flubbed that. And there was like one person in the audience cheering the answer. I'm like, no, you should fucking boo this man. Like, I wish somebody in the audience had the balls to just boo fucking Phil Spencer.
The other thing that he did was talked about how, like, yeah, we're going to bring out lots of games to all the platforms. Whereas, like,
2 months ago, he was like,
oh,
we're just saying these four for now.
Yeah.
And I was
don't worry, you guys, your exclusivity is still there.
Yeah, and what did I say back then? Phil's a fucking liar. He's a used car salesman. Will say anything he wants to get the fucking Xbox fan base happy or placated or whatever. And I was like, yeah, we've got lots more games coming out on other systems, guys. It's like, what, you changed your mind in 2 months? You didn't know about this? You didn't even think there was a possibility in 2 months since you fucking said that? Get the fuck out of here. Fucking Phil Spencer.
So yeah, that was the Xbox showcase, and again, it was the best Xbox showcase we've had in probably a decade. So
well, it was the best of these handful of showcases we've seen recently this year as well.
That too, yeah. The Ubisoft one we got as well, which we got a lot of the Outlaws stuff there, a lot of gameplay. We got some more Assassin's Creed.
I have to say that Assassin's Creed game looks fucking good.
Like,
yeah, I'm starting this
Mike's like, no, pull me back in.
Look, it's coming around now.
It's starting to turn me. Just the idea that one of the characters is like the new, melee Assassin's Creeds, and the other character is the old stealthy Assassin's Creed. I'm like, all right, I can see that working.
No, that's neat. It's interesting they're doing like the two different styles there.
Like, what is it? Dutagonists or
dual
protagonists. Like, I think that's really cool. Like, and I love how like the ninja, like more the assassin type or whatever, and like the samurai dude, he's like fuck, like we're gonna have that fucking duel, and I'm gonna fucking kill you and stuff like that. So I'm like, look, and I have no idea how the game will turn out, but at least from a bystander perspective, like, is the most excited I've been since they showed off Odyssey, and that was like what 5 years ago or whatever, which is good.
Same. Like, I haven't played a Assassin's Creed game since Black Flag, probably, which was 4.
Yeah. Oh god, that's 2010.
Odyssey was the last game. Actually, Odyssey was the last game. I just really didn't play Valhalla. Odyssey was okay.
No, and that's the thing. Is like there were parts I liked, but like, and I still remember, like, as soon as the story like opened up and they like reeled out the map and like just started putting things, I was like, no. I was like, nope, I'm done with this. Like,
there's whole islands. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna go there. Why would I go there?
Yeah, no, that's exactly. I was like, I like that first area, that first island or whatever for the first part of the story. I like that. That was great. And they're like, oh yeah, well now you have to sail and look at all these places you can go to. I was like, that's a fucking lot. And you just put all these markers on my map, and I have that you know analysis paralysis where it's like I don't even know what to do anymore. Like it's overwhelming. It's daunting. Like nope, I'm out. So hopefully this game is not like that. That's
Yeah.
what I will say about that.
I mean, yeah, I would doubt that. I feel like they've learned their lessons.
Yeah.
It seems tighter. This is especially as if you're gonna be like a shinobi style ninja.
Yeah. I think they said
thing.
it's only in this one area of Japan,
Mhm.
so that gives me hope.
Cool.
Stuff like
Yeah,
that.
no, I mean it definitely looks more interesting than the other ones for me, anyway.
And especially because we're not getting Ghost of Tsushima 2 this year, so
Yeah.
And that other game, that Rise of Ronin, I guess it didn't quite hit for most people.
well,
I don't
actually,
know.
it's interesting. I
That
didn't put it
game
on the
that
news,
came
but Koei Tecmo did state this past week it's successful for them, so I'm happy to hear that for them.
That's
and
good.
stuff like that because
I-
original IP and all.
Yeah.
Like that. But yeah, it's definitely one of those games where like I heard like it's like okay, good, okay to good, and I'm like, well,
What was that other one, like that Dark Souls style game that you guys played on Xbox Game Pass, Mike?
Oh,
Or-
Wolong.
Wolong.
Oh god, I mean that was fine. That was fine.
Yeah. Some
But that
people
seems
really
like-
like that game too, but yeah, that's it's the same. It's Team Ninja, right? It's the same company, I think. And
The
that
same
sort
company. I
of
don't know if it's
scared
Team
me
Ninja
off.
that did. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Mm.
So that sort of scared me off it actually, because I felt like it would be like the same type of experience where I could enjoy some of it, but then I'm like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Because the vibe of the acting in those games is just so dumb.
It just see it's unfortunate because like these games seem like budget versions of the games you really do want
Yeah,
to play.
a
Well,
little
sure. I
bit.
mean, it is
A
though,
little
because
bit.
like I mean, fucking, we know that Sony spends at least $200 million on these fucking games,
Yeah.
right? Ghost of Tsushima, Horizon,
I mean,
God of
Ghost
War.
was a cheaper one of theirs too.
Yeah, but it was still over 100. It was probably 125. We know from the leak or
It's only, and it's only going
Well,
up.
The
I mean,
sequel is
Ghost 2
definitely over 200. Like,
gonna be
there's
more,
no
yeah.
way they're doing two. Like, even like her Last of Us 2, which was a PS4 game, was like close to 200, I think. So yeah, there's no
Probably.
way that Ghost of Tsushima 2 is not clearing that 200 million barrier. Like, that is, unless they remove the scope, which would be bad because you don't do that for a sequel. But we'll see. Gives them an opportunity, Assassin's Creed to come out and do well. The one thing, speaking of Souls game, and I thought this was at the Xbox showcase, but this is the Summer Games Fest closer. But Phantom Blade Zero looked fucking awesome.
Phantom Blade, yeah.
This is the one with the very fast animation.
Yes. Because to me, like, I know a lot of people, it's like, oh, it's a Soulsborne game and stuff like that. I watch it, I'm like, no, that's fucking Sekiro. And I fucking love Sekiro because it was way more action-oriented and definitely the definition of, yep, get good. You have one weapon. Like, we're not giving you... there's no outstatting your enemy. There's no, like, oh, you can get a cheesy weapon or anything like that. It's like, you have one katana, you get good. Like, that's it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Who's developing Phantom Blade?
Uh...
Is it their first?
Developer S Game, I think, is a newer studio.
Okay.
I think it's Chinese actually, but it's multi-platform. We will find out more about it at China Joy in July and Gamescom in August and Tokyo Game Show in September. So we'll see. Looks interesting. Could always use more of that. I know Soulsborne are overrated or oversaturated these days, but like again, the Sekiro one where it's fast, furious, like parry gameplay. I love that, so I'm eagerly anticipating that one.
It's definitely, you get some of these good or better ones. Stellar Blade, it's doing really well, so that's sometimes you can get these new IPs, and if you're doing something interesting, you can stand out a little bit. I think it's just these generic ones that are just like, this feels like the broke ass version of Souls, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about real quick was the fact that two games from the different shows this year really are showing, we've been talking about the couple months. So you have Lego Horizon, which we didn't talk about that.
Yeah.
And that trailer, like, that was fun, right? Like, it was more comedic aspect of Horizon, obviously, because of Lego branding.
Yeah.
But the fact that the end of that trailer is, like, coming to PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch, right? And I was like, oh, that is interesting, right? Because Sony published, right? Sony back, Sony
Yeah.
IP.
Sony IP. Yep.
And like for them to be like, you can't make a Lego game and not release it on Switch, right? Like you just can't. That would be financial suicide or like a bad move.
If we were still getting Smash characters.
Yeah. Well, I mean, who knows now, right? Maybe that's what like, hey, we have a game on your system now. Put Aloy in Smash Bros, right?
Yeah.
Watch it be like Lego Aloy, stuff like that.
Of course.
So I thought that was interesting, but also the fact that Doom, whatever, they just flat out said it is coming to PlayStation 5 next.
Yeah, coming to PlayStation 5.
Because again, just going back to the Phil thing where he's like, oh, it's going to be a game case by case basis, blah blah blah. We're only committing to 4 today. It's like, yeah, okay, that doesn't mean shit. Like that's a true statement, but like you have to know in the back of your mind, in your heart of hearts, that there are other games that you haven't been announced that are talking about it. So just again showing the reality of things, right? Just publishers now have to release games on other platforms.
So those are the big showcases. Mike, give us your final thoughts on all these showcases here.
Well, I mean, nothing too crazy, but yeah, the Xbox One had a lot of stuff. I was again surprised to see Perfect Dark. I feel pretty good about Game Pass for the next year or two. I don't know about beyond that, but I'm happy to have it for now. And it does seem like Xbox that's still their priority. They're still going for it with Game Pass, with the Call of Duty stuff and all these things being day one. Not everything they announced, most of it was. And who knows? Maybe I'll even play Call of Duty this year because of that. I haven't done that.
The one I will
time.
say, like we didn't mention either, is Call of Duty is going to be over 300 gigabytes. That is absolutely ridiculous. Like, what the fuck? Like, you get these 500 gig hard drives in your systems by default, right? Like, you can't even extract that.
Oh, and it's online only, even if you're playing single player, because there's new technology about streaming assets or whatever bullshit. And I'm just like, okay, Call of Duty, okay. Like every now and then, when the new one comes out, we'll jump into Warzone, but that is it for me. I'm just like, yeah, fun with that. And there was also some weird language today, I think, on the official Call of Duty Twitter, outlining who could play multi. So I think it's if you have Ultimate, you're fine. You can play all aspects of.
Oh my gosh! Seriously.
But if you're only Xbox Core or Xbox Core Game Pass or whatever bullshit, you can only play multiplayer. If you want single player, you have to pay for Ultimate or something like that. So they're already drawing lines in the sand here about who is getting the Call of Duty on Game Pass thing. I'm almost like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Don't know.
So what are your final thoughts there, Tony, as far as the Summer Game Festival?
I mean, Summer Game Festival's fine. Like, I never had high expectations for it, right? I think this is the 4th one. And I think after
Were you happy that Jeff talked about the layoffs finally? Or did you feel like it was performative and useless like it was always going to be?
I think it's better to talk about it than not talk about it, right? But he's had his chance to talk about these things, so it just feels like it is performatory and like cool, like, whatever, sure, I guess, Jeff, right? Like, whatever. But again, I'd rather have him say something, not say something, but, I wanted to see him continue to say these things and call people out or, at least bring attention to the things. And, real quick, the other thing I did like was Inner Sloth, developers of Among Us, was on the...
Oh, yeah, they had the cartoon Summer Game Fest, I think.
Yep. So they have their, show coming out, which is great and all, but they're, because, Among Us was so successful, they made so much money off of it, that they are themselves becoming a publishing partner for other industry studios, and they quoted themselves as saying, they literally in their video put like, oh, like, industry is rough, we know that, we've got a lot of friends that are in, uncertain times and stuff like that, and we want to be what we wished we had years ago to other indie publishers now. And I think that's great, right? Because like they're taking the success and the financial backing they earned off of Among Us blowing up during COVID and following
paying it forward.
Right, paying it forward. And they even said like in the trailer or whatever, like, oh, like killing your crewmates is paying for other indie games. And I'm like, that's really cool, tongue in cheek. So hats off to Inner. and they're calling it Outer Sloth actually, which I thought was kind of funny too, right?
Yeah.
You have Inner Sloth and Outer Sloth, so that's really cool. So yeah, I mean, whatever. It was a good show by Jeff, but I had lowered expectations. Like,
Yeah.
I think the Elden Ring thing was his. I don't think he's going to top that for a long time, which is fine. It's whatever. I don't think it's a full replacement yet for E3, but it's only 4 years in.
Well, I mean, you had the other shows too, so like obviously.
And Xbox, like I said, it was probably their best show since the 360 days. I just didn't like seeing the executives on there that just laid off, whatever. And I think even today there were some more layoffs that we can't get into today. We'll get into it next week. But I think now today we have officially matched all the layoffs last year. So we're like halfway through the year.
Halfway through, and we're already
the year, and we've already matched
100% of what. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's bad and stuff like that. So I didn't like seeing the Microsoft executives there. And Ubisoft, whatever, this is the most excited I've been for Ubisoft games in, I don't know, long time. So good on Ubisoft.
Since Mario and versus Rabbids.
Yeah, good on Ubisoft. Yeah. And
for me, I think it was the things that weren't there, right? Borderlands wasn't there.
Yeah.
No Xbox handheld. No, who knows? Whatever, doesn't matter. It was,
there was some Xbox hardware they mentioned. What, like a diskless
2 terabyte digital. Yeah. God, that was the fucking other thing. It was Sarah Bond being like, "We care about preservation," and it's like, here's a new Xbox that's all digital. Do you care? Like, having something all digitally is not preservation. Like, that is just
it's the definition of like getting rid of
hard discs and physical. Like, yeah, whatever. But I agree with you. And the thing is, no Borderlands. What was the other big rumor? Square Enix didn't really show up either. Yeah. Which I didn't expect them to.
I mean, we talked about last week with Kingdom Hearts not being there.
Yeah.
No Outer Worlds at all.
No Outer Worlds.
That's the broke ass Fallout in space, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Obsidian game.
I mean, they showed a bunch of Avowed, which still doesn't really look good.
No.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about it.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it was fine.
Overall, overall it's good. I do still. I mean, like the whole thing is, I do like when these companies come together and it's like, let's have a whole week of showing games, and because we did get the Devolver stuff that we didn't talk about it really, but they should have like a little show as well. And so it's nice to see like these companies come out and just celebrate video games in general.
And the other cool thing is, it could be a whole thing, so I won't mention too much. But Steam Next is going on right now, where that's a bunch of indie developers showing off their indie games that are in development, and most of them have demos right now. So I actually tried out 2 yesterday. I'll talk about it next week because we don't have time. But some super cool, super promising stuff. Despite all the shit we talk about the bad parts that we highlight about the industry, there's still a lot of good stuff coming out. And we do, apparently, the rumor is Nintendo Direct next Tuesday. Apparently, one of the websites had an Among Us thing because there's a new update coming out. And they're like, available today or available later today or something like that. And it's like, well, nobody has a show next week. So, rubbing the chin here. It's like, okay. So, and the other thing is it got quickly taken down and deleted, like in a tweet or whatever, I guess. So it's like, oh, that wasn't supposed to be public information yet. So it's like, wonder what that is. So yeah, stay tuned for next week.
All right, guys. Yeah, and that should do it. If you have anything you were excited about or disappointed in not seeing or seeing, even just shoot us a note. We are on YouTube the next day. We do our live recordings on Twitch every Tuesday, starting around 8:00. We do a movie cast and a game cast, so check us out there. And then, like I said, following day on YouTube, also all the podcasting spots you can think of will be there for you. So audio and video.
Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, we're on it all.
Sure. Yep.
Sure. Yeah. Exactly. Sure.
You'll find us.
So yeah, you can find us there. And like I said, hit us up on YouTube, subscribe, like those videos, helps us out a bunch. And that will do it for us, guys. Thanks and good night.